AskReddit by Civil Cockroach 726. What's something people say is good but is actually terrible? The skating rink at Rockefeller Center in New York City. In movies it looks like this amazing big rink with romantic couples skating around that iconic statue thing. When you go there the thing is the size of tennis court. So disappointing. The one at Bryant Park is way better. They also have a better Christmas tree. New Year's Eve in Times Square. It used to be one of my life goals to do 9 Times Square. Now that I'm older I don't see the appeal and it looks like a pain in the ass. Work as hard as you can. Always give 100%. For God's sake, relax a little. Agreed. Hustle culture can F off. Sex on the beach. Sand getting everywhere. Spotted in a kin. Therapy apps, BetterHelp, etc. I see tons of ads for them, and a bunch of companies have been adding them to their benefits package as like an employee wellness thing. They sound great on paper. Meanwhile, everyone I've ever talked to in person who has used those apps, whether as a therapist or a client, has had an awful experience. Edit. To address some of the comments, I don't think app-based therapy is inherently bad or anything, and I definitely understand the benefits in terms of expanding access for people who might not otherwise have access to traditional therapy for one reason or another. The horror stories I've heard generally have more to do with privacy issues, unqualified therapists giving bad dangerous advice, pay hours, things like that. Not to mention that they do sell your data. https://yahoo.be/f5ubs41nag?sir2ilhc52vUxm1xfx. Take note that in the settlement BetterHelp reached, they don't admit to wrongdoing when it comes to sharing your mental health data, because it's a standard of the industry, meaning that they all share your data. Relationship advice on Reddit. LMAO seriously. Post, my partner yelled at me and stormed off to their room. Reddit, call the cops and divorce them. Mardi Gras in downtown New Orleans. It smells, everything is expensive, it's crowded, and your shoes will be covered in piss and vomit. I went to know a few weeks before Mardi Gras and it's amazing. You get all the perks of Mardi Gras without the crowds or the doubled prices. Plus there's the crew parades which are incredible. Clean beauty. Give me my preservatives. I'm not trying to throw my expensive serum out after a month or apply mold to my face. Sometimes I feel like it's only me that wants his medications to be designed by PhDs in lab coats and prepared with no human touching in centrifuges to be precise dose. The old days. I asked my 90-year-old neighbor if he remembered the good old days and he said yep, I remember both of them. Malort. Why yes I am from Chicago, how did you know? Who's out here says Malort is good? That shit is vile 10/10 would drink again. Shower sex. Let's also add beach sex. Sand is not lube 0/10. Getting drunk until you black out. You either had a great time but you can't remember it, or you completely embarrassed yourself and can't remember to know how bad it was. Turning the bass all the way up. I got in a rental Honda not too long ago and first thing I had to do was figure out how to fix the sound. Whoever had it before me decided bass and only bass matters. Shit was bumping. Crumble. Had crumble cookies last night. Well, one cookie. Tastes like nothing but sugar topped with more sugar and poorly baked. Drake's music. Don't forget the groomer Drake is also a title he holds. Going to your in-laws for Christmas Eve with the rest of their family that don't talk to you directly so you just sit there awkwardly quiet and listen until it's time to go home. It's good. But it's not. Authoritarianism. There has never been any such thing as a benevolent dictator. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And even if there was a benevolent dictator, their generals wouldn't be, your governor wouldn't be, your mayor wouldn't be. In a dictatorship, every part of society is a dictatorship, not just the top leader. Getting up early. It can lead to good things if you're lucky enough to be a morning person, but honestly is terrible. I love being up early, but I hate getting up early. Christmas. Don't get me wrong, it's nice, as long as you spend it with the right people. Realism in superhero movies. Yeah, the more real they try to make it, the more silly it becomes. It's supposed to fantastic and otherworldly. Not a crime movie with people in costumes and flashing light special effects. Bras. Our bra that fits is one of my favorite niche subreddits to remind people about. Two-party system. I don't think I've ever heard someone argue in favor of a two-party system. Putting ranch on everything. I've literally seen places get negative reviews, especially in Texas, for committing the crime of not providing ranch, when nothing on their menu would actually be any good with ranch. Listen, I get being obsessed with a sauce. I've had obsessions. But just eat stuff that actually calls for ranch, then. Don't just try to literally put it on everything and then act like it's the other stuff's fault it's not good with ranch. My wife puts ranch on her spaghetti sauce. Enough said. Lying on the beach. It is nice if you swim and read for a bit. I find it boring. I felt the same until I had a really stressful year, and then laying on the beach doing nothing in a while was the best feeling ever. After that I realized I needed to reduce my overall stress. Parties. I always prefer a hangout session with 1-2 friends. We will actually have a fun time, easy to agree on what we wanna do together, and spend quality time with other human without social anxiety.